I still remember that moment as if it were yesterday. My name is Alex, and my wife, Caroline, and I had been married for 10 years. Together, we had a daughter, Emma, who was 7 at the time. I loved both of them more than anything, or so I thought. Caroline and I had our ups and downs, like every couple, but I always believed we could work through anything. I tried to be patient, understanding, and supportive, but over the years I began to notice subtle changes in her behavior. She became distant, more irritable, and often dismissive of my feelings. She started going out more often, claiming work events or girls' nights, sometimes coming home late, always with an excuse ready. I wanted to believe her, wanted to trust her, but a gnawing sense of unease grew in me. There were nights when I'd catch her on her phone, whispering, smiling in ways that didn't seem meant for me, but I pushed it aside, told myself I was imagining things. Until one night, everything came crashing down. It was a Friday evening. I had just returned from work, tired and stressed, looking forward to a quiet family dinner. I opened the door, and Caroline was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Emma ran up to me, excited, holding a drawing she had made for me at school. I knelt down to hug her, praise her effort, and she giggled. That's when I heard it. Caroline's voice, low and venomous, barely intended for anyone but herself, but loud enough for me to catch. "She's an obstacle to my happiness," she said. I froze. My heart sank. My blood ran cold. I stared at her, unable to comprehend what I had just heard. Did she just call our daughter, the little girl I had protected, loved, and cherished, an obstacle to her happiness? Emma didn't understand, of course. She continued smiling, showing me her drawing, unaware of the emotional bomb that had just dropped. I wanted to scream, to demand an explanation, but I didn't. I didn't react immediately. I wanted to make sure I processed this fully. I wanted to understand the depth of her betrayal. I quietly walked into the other room, my mind racing. The words kept repeating themselves in my head. Obstacle to happiness. My daughter? An obstacle? How could someone I had loved for so long see her own child that way? I confronted Caroline that night. My voice was calm, but inside I was shaking with anger and hurt. "Did you just call our daughter an obstacle to your happiness?" I asked. Caroline didn't look surprised. She didn't try to deny it. Instead, she shrugged. "I said what I feel. She's holding me back. I can't be truly happy with her in the house." I felt my world tilt. Everything I had believed about our marriage, our life together, crumbled. This wasn't just a moment of frustration or fatigue. This was a revelation of who she really was, selfish, unfeeling, and willing to devalue the person I loved most for her own desires. I spent the next few nights thinking, planning, and reflecting. Could I forgive this? Could I continue a marriage where my wife despised our daughter's very existence? The answer was obvious, painful as it was. I could not. I would not. My duty, my love, and my loyalty to Emma came first. The following morning, I made the decision. I contacted a lawyer, arranged temporary custody, and started the process of separating from Caroline. I wanted to protect Emma from the emotional toxicity that had begun to invade her life, and I wanted to reclaim my own life from someone who had shown me such blatant betrayal. Caroline reacted with anger, disbelief, and manipulation. She tried to convince me to stay, to see that she loved the family, to make excuses for her cruel words. But I didn't argue. I didn't engage. I focused solely on protecting Emma and myself. In the weeks and months that followed, Caroline attempted to make my life miserable. She tried to paint me as unreasonable, as overreacting, as controlling. But the truth was on my side. I had evidence, her words, her actions, and the emotional environment she created that proved she was unfit to remain in a household with our daughter. Living without her was difficult at first. Emma missed her mother, and I missed the partner I thought I knew. But slowly, peace began to return. I focused on creating a home filled with love, respect, and stability, things Caroline could no longer provide. Emma thrived. She laughed more, played freely, and slowly, the shadows of her mother's disdain faded. Years later, I reflect on that moment, the words Caroline spoke, and I am both heartbroken and grateful. Heartbroken because a person I trusted could betray us so deeply. Grateful because it forced me to act decisively, to protect my daughter, and to build a life where she could grow without fear, judgment, or cruelty. I realized something crucial through this experience. Betrayal isn't always about infidelity or lies. Sometimes it's subtler, hidden behind words, attitudes, and neglect. Sometimes it's about someone refusing to value what you hold most dear. And when that happens, you have to act. Not out of anger, but out of love and principle. Emma and I are stronger now. She knows she is loved, cherished, and never an obstacle to anyone's happiness. I taught her to recognize her own value, to trust her instincts, and to demand respect in every relationship. Caroline may still exist in our world, but she no longer has the power to dictate our lives or our emotions. Walking away from her wasn't easy, but it was necessary. It was a choice for life, for love, and for dignity. And seeing my daughter smile without fear, without worry, and without the weight of her mother's cruelty, that was worth every sleepless night, every emotional battle, and every tear I shed along the way.